Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. This is Dhanlakshmi from Pon Vidyashram School. Today's session is about life processes. Before getting into the topic, let me tell you one thing. Each of us owns an exceptional example of biological engineering which has to be appreciated, understood, and celebrated. You know what am I talking about? Yes, our human body. Our human body deserves to be appreciated, understood, and celebrated. Let's get into the lesson. How can you differentiate whether an organism is alive or not? Some organisms, they show some sort of movement. Some animals, they can breathe even without visible movement. So, using visible movement as the defining characteristics of life is not enough. There are some invisible movement that happens, which cannot be seen with our naked eyes. Let's discuss about it. What is an important criteria to define life? There are so many criteria to define life. A living organism can grow and develop, it can reproduce, it can respond to stimuli. What do you mean by stimuli? Stimuli is any kind of change in the environment. Some organisms, they maintain homeostasis. What is homeostasis? It is the ability of the body to maintain a stable internal environment despite changes in the external conditions. Life processes. See, all the organisms need to perform some basic function, isn't it? For what? Why? To maintain their life on earth. So, the maintenance of these living organisms, they must continue even when the living organism are not physically fit or active or even sitting idle or even during sleep. So, there are so many functions that are required to perform so many activities within the body. So, these functions are called life processes. It includes transportation, respiration, excretion, reproduction, metabolism and nutrition. So, it's very clear from the above discussion that food is the basic requirement. For all the organism to perform so many activities, it requires what? Energy. So, food is the basic requirement for all the organisms. So, now let's understand these concepts one by one. Nutrition. What do you mean by nutrition? Nutrition is a process by which the organisms obtain and utilize the food. Okay, it can be classified into two important types or the two major types: autotrophic nutrition, heterotrophic nutrition. Autotrophic means what? Auto means self, or trophic means nutrition. So in this mode of nutrition, the organism synthesizes its own food. It prepares its own food with the help of some inorganic raw materials like carbon dioxide and water. Heterotrophic condition. In this heterotrophic mode of nutrition, the organism depends on other organisms for food. Let me give you a very good example for autotrophic nutrition. As you all know very well, plants also need food to prepare or to perform so many metabolic activities. Since it cannot move from one place to another in search of food, they have to prepare their own food with the help of a process called photosynthesis. Photo means what? Light. Synthesis means what? Building together. Photosynthesis, building up with light. So what are the raw materials? Here you can see the picture. Here you can see it very clearly. The inorganic raw materials such as water and carbon dioxide is utilized to prepare food. With the help of what? In addition to these two raw materials, light also plays a very important role. It plays a very important role because without light energy, food cannot be prepared. So chlorophyll traps the light energy from the sun and it is utilized. This energy is utilized to prepare food. Now what will happen to the excess food? See, food prepared by the green leaves will be in the form of what? Glucose. Now this excess glucose is converted into starch. Excess glucose is converted into starch and it is stored in the leaves of the plant. Here you can see it very clearly. Sunlight, carbon dioxide, water, all these materials are used to prepare glucose, and then oxygen is a byproduct. Now, which is the site of photosynthesis? Which part plays a very important role in photosynthesis? You all know very well, right? It's nothing but leaf. If you see the cross section of leaf, you can see it very clearly. Cross section of leaf, see, it has the outer coating, that outer waxy cuticle and upper epidermis, and you can also see a layer. This is actually in the structure of leaf. The middle layer contains photosynthetic cells called mesophyll cells. These cells are called mesophyll cells. These mesophyll cells contain more chlorophyll. The mesophyll cells are divided into two layers. One is palisade. Here you can see the palisade cells. Spongy cells over here. These are the two important layers. You know why? Because it has more chlorophyll. So chlorophyll or chloroplast. It has chloroplast. So chloroplasts are responsible for trapping the light energy, and it converts the light energy into chemical energy. The photosynthetic pigments occur in green colored cell organelles called chloroplast. This organelle is the site of photosynthesis. Now let's discuss the structure of chloroplast. Chloroplast is bounded by a double membrane. You can see the outer membrane and inner membrane very clearly, isn't it? And this chloroplast is filled with a semi-fluid colorless substance called stroma. And here you can see so many flattened disc-like structure, and this flattened disc-like structure is called thylakoid, and the thylakoids are arranged just like a stacked coins. They are arranged one above the other. Can you see this? It's arranged one above the other just like a stacked coins, and this is called grana. This pigment, the pigment chlorophyll is present in the thylakoids actually. So you must have seen most of the common plants have leaves which are totally green. It's only due to the presence of green pigment called chlorophyll. Now, based on the above discussion, we can come to a conclusion that three important events that takes place during photosynthesis. One is absorption of light energy by chlorophyll, and conversion of light energy into chemical energy, and splitting up of water molecules into hydrogen and oxygen, reduction of carbon dioxide to carbohydrates. These are the major three events that takes place during photosynthesis process. Now, how does carbon dioxide enters into the plant? How it is happening? There are a large number of tiny pores, present on the surface of the leaves. They're called stomata. So you can see a very small, tiny pores present on the surface. So before, you should know actually the structure of stomata. Before you study how carbon dioxide enters into the leaf, you should know the structure of stomata. When you look into the stomata through an electronic microscope, you will see that it is surrounded by a pair of cells called guard cells. It has a pair of cells called guard cells. Here you can see it very clearly. What is the main function of this guard cell? This guard cell, it controls the opening and closing of stomata. When guard cells, when it absorbs water, they swell and they become curved, and the pore opens. So the excess water is sent out in the form of vapor. Here you can see it very clearly. Here. On the other hand, when guard cells, when they lose water, they shrink and they become straight. It's called flaccid. So the pore closes. So it's obvious that large amount of water is lost from the cells of the leaves when stomatal pore is open. When it is open, more amount of water goes out. So we can also say that the gaseous exchange in plants happen through the stomata.